Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back. Jamie here today, and it finally happened. Halloween Ends is here, the final part of this trilogy. I'm not going to spoil too much straight away, but there will be a lot of spoilers inside this review. But before I get into that, I just want to say, there was some good parts of this film, there was some really bad parts as well. But overall, it's not the worst of the franchise. It's not the best either, don't get me wrong, but some people are saying it's 0 out of 10. I don't know what they were expecting. It's not Resurrection bad, it's not Halloween 5 bad. But I was expecting to hate Corey, but I actually liked him. But the main parts of this film that I hated, not enough Michael. He didn't show up till 50 minutes into it. The final act is ridiculous as well, and some of the dialogue was really bad. And Laurie really annoyed me as well. But yeah, we'll get into spoilers. There's going to be spoilers throughout this video, so if you've already seen the film or you don't care, carry on. The film starts with an actual song. I was expecting the score, so that threw me off a little bit as well. I know it's not the first Halloween film to start with an actual, music track instead of the score, but it threw me off. It's Halloween night 2019, and also the text is just the same as Halloween 3 as well. So we get the setup of the Corey character. He's a babysitter for this rich family inside this house. Halloween night, 1 year after the events of Halloween Kills, and the kid he's babysitting is so annoying, man. And he starts bad-mouthing Corey. Like I said, coming into this, I was expecting to hate Corey, but he's a normal guy. He's just normal at this point. I thought he was going to be annoying or emo or something like that, but he's fine. This kid is annoying now. They're watching The Thing on the TV, and the kid disappears. So Corey goes upstairs looking for him, and he eventually gets locked inside the attic by the kid. And the kid won't let him out, and Corey's let me out, you little shit. He starts trying to break down the door until eventually he kicks it, and that sends the kid flying off the balcony down 3 flights of stairs as his parents are coming in. So they see the son just... Obviously it's a terrifying moment, but the way it was portrayed, it just came out of nowhere. It was ridiculous. I guess this was setting up for the tone of the film, really, if you think about it. But yeah, they're screaming, they look up as Corey's looking down, just the same as Michael did in a way. And then we get the Halloween Ends title card with the pumpkins, and it turned one of them at the end, explodes. Now we get flashbacks from the original of Laurie's narration, because now she's writing a book and it's 4 years later. And we also get a montage of people who have been killed or killed themselves in Haddonfield, as Laurie says Michael's evil is spread it across the town. And we also see is it Oscar from the first Halloween 2018, his mum who was in Kills, she's killed herself as well. I think she's got the same costume as her son as well. And also we see a news bulletin saying that the Myers house has been destroyed. Kills set up that Michael just wanted to go to his house and stand outside his bedroom window, his sister's, but now the house is demolished, so I guess, that's why he went to the sewers. But we'll get more into Michael later. But like I said, man, Michael doesn't show up till 50 minutes in. That is a major problem for me. I watch these films for Michael. I know some people come to see Laurie and stuff, but for me, Halloween's all about Michael. So the fact that he wasn't in until 50 minutes in, but yeah, we'll get into that. So at this point, Laurie and Allison are living together. And this scene right here, Laurie's coming down swearing because there's a pie inside the oven. And this threw me off straight away, and there's more to come later on. Laurie does not feel like the same character in this film. I know obviously it's 40 years later, but this is not the same Laura. Even from the last two films, I don't know if it's the writing itself, it must be, because there was 4 writers for this film, not just David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, there was 2 others as well. So the dialogue in this film, yeah man, some of it's just really bad, but she's throwing F-bombs all over the place. Allison works inside a hospital at this point. Corey works as a car mechanic in the scrapyard, so he's also got the jumpsuit already available to him. While they're driving about, we hear the radio station guy asking where did Michael go. He's disappeared after killing all these people. And we've seen the radio tower in Halloween 2018 and Kills, and it's featured in this as well, but I thought it was going to have more impact of the story, but it doesn't really. It's just the radio guy just asking oh, I wonder if Myers, the original, died and stuff like that, conspiracy theories about Michael. Allison gets pulled over by an ex-boyfriend who's one of the Delaney's from Halloween Kills in a flashback, but he's 20 years older. I know, it's creepy, it's really ridiculous. Allison's in her early 20s, this guy's got to be at least 40. There's a massive age gap there, man, it's crazy. Corey gets bullied at a shop by these high schoolers when they recognise who he is, and he breaks his glass and they push him over and he cuts his hand from it. Laurie comes and stops him and helps Corey up, and they slash the tyres, and then Laurie takes him to the hospital. From there he gets introduced to Allison, and that starts sort of the love story of this film. Pretty much this is Corey's film. It's not a Michael film, it's a Corey Cunningham film. And like I said, I actually liked Corey inside this film, so I didn't mind it, but at the same time, I'm here for Michael. So Lindsay and Allison are inside the house, and Lindsay barely has a part inside this film. She's doing tarot card readings with Allison, and then Laurie, like I said, the dialogue, she's like, why don't you show your tits to grief and all this? And I'm like, what are you even talking about? This is not the same character, it's ridiculous. But yeah, Lindsay's barely used inside this film either. They may as well just killed her off in Halloween Kills, because You bring her back for like, what, 2 scenes? We get introduced to Corey's life at home, and his mum is a complete bitch, but his stepdad's pretty cool as well. But she's also has lines like, people who keep secrets don't get dessert, and she takes the dessert away. Like I said, his stepdad's alright. He works for his stepdad at the scrapyard. Another part of the dialogue, like I said, it's cringy. We get the shop scene with Laurie and Frank, and it's like the 2 like high schoolers. It's crazy. Like the way it was set up in Kills, I thought they were going to get together, and it's been 4 years and they still haven't. And also, you know, Frank's determination to kill Michael at the end of Kills. At the end of Kills, it's like, oh, if only we knew then that what we knew now and all this. And it just seems like they've just moved on. I understand it's 4 years later. That's why it don't make sense with Laurie from 2018. Like, she didn't let go for 40 years, but now her daughter's dead and she has let go. As Laurie's walking outside, she gets interrupted by this woman who's criticizing her, because it's been revealed that, you remember the old couple from Kills, when she gets stabbed with a light tube through her neck, she's still alive, but she can't talk. And her sister's criticizing Laurie for not knowing her name and spreading all this fear and tempting Michael, blaming Laurie, saying that it's her fault. From there, Allison and Corey go to a Halloween party inside a bar, and he's wearing a scarecrow mask, which is, I do like the look of the scarecrow mask. It'll come back later on as well. We get a Nick Castle cameo as well inside this party, which is pretty cool. Corey bumps into the mum of the kid who he accidentally killed at the beginning. She starts screaming at him, saying, "What are you doing here? You can't be having fun. I have all this grief from my son dying." So Corey leaves. On the way home, he gets attacked again by the bullies, and they eventually throw him off a bridge and leave him there. And Corey all of a sudden gets dragged into the sewer by we don't know who. He wakes up, he tries going out, but all of a sudden finally Michael shows up and he grabs him by the throat, and they lock eyes with each other, and we get flashes of what happened to Corey with the kid. And my interpretation of this was that was Michael reading Corey, looking into his eyes and seeing that he has some sort of evil in him as well. And from there was some sort of passage of power, because Corey doesn't feel the same after this, and his eyes are more dark, and he's got the killing spree in him now, which it's a cool concept. I'm actually, like I said, when I came into this, I was expecting, oh, copycat killer, Corey's gonna be shit. Corey's one of the best parts of the film, and I don't mind this transference of power in a way, because people always say, oh, it was not the original. This isn't the original. It's its own thing. It's its own timeline. If you don't like this Michael, fair enough, it's not for you. But I like that they're trying new things. Some things work, some things don't. But the fact that, you can, the transference of evil, it's not the first time we've seen it. They did tease it in Halloween 4 as well with Jamie. But I do actually like this. And also the tag team that's going to come between him and Michael, I like it as well. It's one of the best parts of the film for me. It's something different. He lets Corey go, which is the first of the series, Michael letting someone go. He's obviously weak at this point, which we'll get back to later. Corey goes out the sewer and he gets attacked by a homeless man who claims to be Michael Myers. And he's like, go in there and get the mask, I'm Michael Myers. So in self-defense, Corey stabs him, and that's what, the second person that he's killed. I guess the first, really. The kid was an accidental, but this is self-defense in a way. From there, Laurie's standing outside a window looking out, and she sees Corey stood there just like Michael did in the original, and he disappears. She goes outside, and all of a sudden he just appears from behind her. It's like he's got the ability to, like, teleport like Michael does. Because the way this is edited, there's no way he got around her without just teleporting. So they're playing with something here. And his eyes are also darker as well, which Laurie, she can tell, she senses something's off with Corey. Skipping ahead a bit, Corey and Allison are at a diner, and Doug comes over drunk and starts talking to Allison until Corey eventually, stands up to him and says, "We're good, leave us alone." From there, Doug follows Corey to the sewer, and Corey leads him into the sewer, pretending, just running away, so he comes in. And we see Michael in the background. You can tell he's kind of weak, and Corey stood there. All of a sudden, Michael pounces on Doug, but Doug fights him off because, like I said, he's weak and down. So Corey comes in with a flashlight and starts hitting him as well. And then Michael finally gets up. Corey wants Michael to show him what it's like and how to do it. So he grabs Doug, and Michael slits his throat first of all, and he starts powering up a little bit. You see him get like the jitters or whatever, because at first he's all like limping or whatever. But then when he starts stabbing, and the more he stabs, you can tell his power's coming back, which, like I said, it's a cool concept. It really is. I do like it. So from there, Corey asked Allison, did Michael let her go, or did she escape? Because he's wondering why, why did Michael let me go? And the way I thought it was going to go with this, I thought like Corey was going to keep leading people down for Michael to get, strength, and then eventually Michael's full power and he just kills Corey off. But the transference of power, I don't actually mind it. And they had more ideas, which we'll get into later, the original ending, apparently. So outside, Laurie's watching Corey and Allison go upstairs as Michael's watching her from the tree. but she doesn't see him. Next scene, Laura's at the bar. She talks about how Michael has the same eyes as Cora, and she talks to the father of the kid who died at the original, and he also says that he tried talking to Corey, but he looked into his eyes and it's not the same person. From there, Corey goes and kills Allison's boss and also a co-worker at the hospital. It's like a massive mansion like type rich place or whatever. He's got a scarecrow mask and he's just stabbing the guy in the background until she realizes and she screams, runs into the house, and Corey gets his hand like smacked off the door, which is the same hand that Michael is losing fingers. I think it's the same hand. But yeah, she thinks she's safe, and all of a sudden Michael just slides the door and he's behind her. He picks her up by the throat, slams her against the wall, and kills her just like Bob in the original, as Corey's looking on with his hand on the door. And Michael's aware that Corey's there as well, because they look at each other. And then from there, it's the next scene on a bike, and I was expecting Michael and Corey to be on the bike. If they would have went like that, I'd be like, no, that's too far. But thankfully, it's Allison and Corey on the bike. They go on top of the radio tower, sat up there, and Corey's like, I'm not interested in immortality. And he drops down and he sits up like Myers. Then the radio host comes out and tells him to fuck off, basically. Corey goes home and he gets slapped by his mum, and then she kisses him. You can tell she's psycho. His stepdad goes, I hope you find love one day. And then the next day it's Halloween, so we've seen Michael active not on Halloween, because now it's Halloween. Corey wakes up inside the house, you know, of the parents who have moved out from the beginning, and Laurie's there. But this scene's weird, because like Corey's like, oh, I can't have Allison, no one can, and all this. And he looks away for a second and he looks back and Laurie's gone. There's no way she got out of the house that quick, so I think this is in Corey's mind, maybe, because she also had the paper airplane like the kid had at the beginning, so I don't know. But the way it was filmed, it definitely seemed like there's no way she got out that quick through the window. I don't buy it. Now, this scene is ridiculous. It's good and bad, but Corey goes into the sewer and it's just locked in the sewer tunnel, and we see Myers just standing there, but his head slowly comes up as Corey comes in. So is that what Michael does when he's not active? Does he just stand there like he's limber, like he's shut down or whatever? But he comes in and Corey's like, I need that mask, and they start wrestling back and forth. They go off the camera to come back. Eventually Corey's on top of Michael and he takes the mask off, and we see most of James Jude Courtney's face. That's what I hate about this film and these last two films. Like, why do we need to see his face this much? It's crazy. But Corey's just like, you're just a man inside a mask, and he takes his mask and he leaves. And then Myers sits up eventually. I don't know about this scene, I really don't. Like, did Michael intentionally want Corey to take the mask so he could track him? I know he's weak at this point, but he also had the strength to kill that girl before, and he was out, you know, he had to go to the house. Did he travel with Corey to that house? Like, there's a lot of questions with this film, there really is. It's just the visual of him and Corey wrestling back and forth, man. It was ridiculous. And Myers standing there, it was like he's a parent waiting for his son to come back. He's like, where have you been? I've been here for hours. Where have you been? From there, Corey leads the bullies to the scrapyard and he starts killing them off one by one. He stabs the mullet guy through the eye. The problem is with this film, a lot of these kills are off screen. We don't see any of them really. He runs one of them over with a truck and he smacks the other one with like a wrench. And his stepdad gets shot accidentally by one of the bullies and he just disappears behind him. And in the final one, he burns his mouth, but it's out of focus so we don't see it entirely. Like I said, like, you know, the kills in Halloween Kills are better than this. We've seen a lot more. I mean, unless they were deleted scenes and we're getting on the Blu-ray, I'm not too sure. But a lot of kills are off screen inside this film. And then another one, he goes to his house to kill his mum. And we got like the POV shot from like the original of him getting a knife. But then it cuts away. But in the trailer, we saw a scene of his mum with a pillow and Myers stabbing the pillow. Obviously, that's Corey now, but that wasn't a part of the film either. So again, another deleted scene maybe. From there, he goes to the radio station and he kills another person off screen. And he comes and kills the radio host. He slams his head and his jaw's like open and he cuts his tongue off. This is the best kill of the film, but it's not Michael doing it, it's Cora. Cuts his tongue off and it goes on the record so it starts skipping. Amazing effects by Christopher Nelson inside this film, oh my god. Laurie's at a house and she calls the police reporting a suicide and she gets the gun out of the safe, which looks like Loomis's, I think, from the original as well. And she shoots and we see the pumpkin splatter. And then Corey comes in dressed as Michael and she's like, you really think I was going to kill myself? And she shoots him twice and he falls off the balcony, goes down, takes the mask off. She's like, you know, you came here to kill me, why don't you do it? And Corey hears Allison outside about to come in, so he's like, if I can't have Allison, and he just stabs himself beside the neck. Allison comes in, Laurie takes the knife out, and it seems like Laurie's killed Corey, but obviously she hasn't. If she would have looked, she would have saw that Corey's wearing the jumpsuit and the mask was there, but you know, in the moment. So she freaks out and she leaves. And at this point, Laurie's like trying to, you know, calm down. And we hear footsteps. Michael's inside the house. He grabs his mask. But Corey awakens after stabbing himself beside the neck and wrestles with Michael a little bit until Michael grabs his neck and just snaps it. So I don't know if Corey was starting to become immortal as well, because he did say before he wasn't interested in immortality. I don't know, but Corey's dead at this point, which is a shame because I actually ended up liking him. The tag team with him and Michael, it was something different. Like I said, I thought Michael was just using him as like a battery and to get charged up, and then he'll just kill him off. And then from there, Laurie's hiding. The microwave goes off. It distracts Michael. She comes out swinging with a fire extinguisher. And they attack each other, and we're finally getting the final showdown between them. And it's a good fight, but it seems rushed. It's not, you know, that long really. Michael tries putting her hand inside the blades, you know, for revenge, blowing off his fingers, but she fights back. Michael gets the knitting needle and puts it through her ear, you know, the original callback once again. But eventually Laurie pins him down and starts putting knives into his arms and everything, and in the fridge to keep him down. She takes off his mask and we fully see like Michael's face. And again, what's your fascination with taking the mask off? I don't get it. It's like they were saying the mask gives him power. I don't know what they were doing, but she slits his throat, and at this point it's at the cinema. I was like, oh my god, no. But Michael comes back up and he chokes her, and I was like, yes, Michael, I shouted it at the cinema. He starts choking her, and we get flashbacks to the original and everything that's happened, and it seems like, you know, she's like, do it, kill me. So he's choking her and she's about to die. Allison comes in, breaks Michael's arm, and they're together. They slit his wrist and Michael just bleeds out. And at this point I'm like, oh my god. It wasn't the fact that they killed Michael, it's the way they did it. It was so rushed. Michael was barely in the film as well, and I was expecting them both to die. I mean, obviously this isn't the end of Halloween. We know there's going to be another one eventually, like a new reboot, maybe a sequel to another film, but I didn't like the way they did this one. But yeah, Michael bleeds out. The sheriff arrives, which is the most useless sheriff in horror really. Like, he was in this for one scene, and they're tying Michael on the top of the car, and they're like, this isn't how we do it, and he gives the order. He's like, no, this is what we're doing tonight. So they drive to the scrapyard as the entire town of Haddonfield come and congregate there as well. They get Myers' body and they all pass him off like he's Jesus or Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, which is ridiculous. Laurie's there, she puts him in the machine, which is we've seen throughout the film with all the blades, and Myers just gets eviscerated when he gets destroyed. Like, there's no question about it, he's gone at this point. And the film ends with like peaceful shots of Laurie's house, no breathing, you know, like the original, and then we get Don't Fear the Reaper, the song playing, and that's how the film ends. Overall, Halloween Ends, there's some good, there's some bad. Like I said, it's not the worst of the franchise, it's definitely not the best. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Like I said, there's not enough Michael. He only shows up 50 minutes in. It's ridiculous, especially with someone who's watching it for Michael. I actually like Corey going in, like with the leaks. I thought, oh my god, copycat killer, I'm going to hate him. I actually liked him. It's the Corey movie. It is a good movie, but Halloween wise, you're expecting Michael and you barely get Michael. The dialogue threw me off. Like, Laurie does not feel the same character. There's 4 writers on this film. You can tell, like, it just doesn't feel the same. The characters, the way they're talking and stuff. The kills off screen were ridiculous as well. I understand you don't want to, like, you know, Halloween Kills was the one for all of them, but you could have showed us more, unless they were deleted, and because the film's what, an hour and 50 minutes already. Maybe when the Blu-ray comes out we'll have more kills on that. And the ending was ridiculous. I hated the ending. They should have went all the way with Corey and Michael, to be honest. The full transference of power. You wanted to set up for more sequels of Corey. I mean, even back to the original, like, we don't know how Myers' parents was. Obviously, Rob Zombie explored it in the remake, that he came from a bad family, but what if Michael grew up the same way Corey did? I mean, obviously it wasn't the same as the remake, was it? Corey's mum probably loved him in her own way, but I don't know, man. I did actually dig the tag team between Michael and Corey. But obviously that ain't going anywhere. And the transference of power, apparently the original ending, they were going to burn Michael with his mask, and it would end with Laura being evil because she looked in the eyes of Michael, and the transference of power happened there. I would not have liked that. That would piss me off on a lot of people. But the fact that happened with Corey, you know, Michael and Corey are sort of similar. It makes sense. But with Laura, after the whole thing she's been through, it wouldn't have made sense. But yeah, it's been my review of Halloween Ends. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. This is it for a while. I hope we don't have to wait 9 years for another Halloween film. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos about Halloween Ends. Like I said, it raises a lot of questions. Obviously, it's not the best, it's not the worst, but I do like that, you know, you walk out and you're still thinking about it. You're asking questions about the film. But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe if you're new. Until next time, peace out in a bit.